Welcome back. To understand the students' problems shown in the footage, let us first find out what writing is. In a way, writing is similar to speaking. Both are productive skills. While speech is produced when speaking, a text is created when writing. Remember, something is always produced when a person speaks or writes. However, speaking and writing differ in many ways. First, while normal persons may learn how to speak or talk spontaneously and effortlessly, especially in their mother tongue, they have to be taught how to write. Writing, aside from reading, makes a person literate or not. Second, while a person can use voice, tone, pitch, stress, gestures, facial expression to send a message, in writing, however, he or she uses carefully chosen words to express thoughts and feelings. Also, to signal meaning, a speaker uses pauses and intonation on the one hand. On the other hand, a writer uses punctuation to show whether he or she is asking questions, stating a fact, or expressing a strong feeling. While most speaking is spontaneous, natural, and unplanned, it may take time for one to think and organize thoughts in writing. It is planned. A speaker has to pronounce words correctly and clearly, while a writer must spell words right. Lastly, in speaking, simple sentences are commonly used. Repeating words and joining sentences by ands and buts are allowed in writing. Those sentences are longer, more complex, and not repetitive. More precise linking words are likewise used to compare and contrast, to give examples, to show cause and effect, etc. How else does writing differ from speaking? For one thing, writing is generally a conscious and solitary activity. It is done alone. Unlike in speaking, writers make extra efforts to be well understood by the readers because there is no face-to-face interaction between the writer and the reader. That makes the writer's work much harder. Since writers don't receive immediate feedback from readers, because of this, they won't be able to know right away whether what they have written makes sense or not. To compensate for lack of immediate feedback and face-to-face interaction, writers see to it that they use the appropriate words to express the tone of their message, to convey thoughts and feelings, observations, opinions, and attitudes. Besides, writers have to observe the conventions of writing, such as indentation, punctuation, the use of linking words for cohesion, etc. All these may frighten students, especially the beginners, and discourage them to further attempt writing. More often than not, the teacher's way of handling a class makes or breaks the student's attitude towards writing. How does your belief about writing influence your method of teaching it? Let me take you to a classroom scenario and observe very closely what takes place here.
Class, here are your corrected compositions. Now go over the corrections carefully and then rewrite your work neatly.
Mark, hurry up. Mark.
No, Dressel, my work is so neat. I got an 8.
That's okay.
Mia, get an 8.
This isn't clean.
Wow.
How about I have no amazing scores? Simplify you.
Let me see your...
Have you ever done that in class? In that scenario, how does the teacher view writing? Obviously, the teacher in that scenario appears to be simply interested in what the students can produce. She seems to be concerned about the end result of the writing activity. Apparently, she only wants to find out if the students can use the language forms, such as the form of the verb, in writing a composition. The students are practically left on their own to produce a piece of writing. In that scenario, writing is viewed as a product. Here, the composition is considered almost final, needing perhaps little or no revision at all. Let us watch the next classroom scene.
Class, study these pictures carefully. Who can say something about each of them? How about the first picture? Yes? Katrina.
Ma'am, that's a picture of smoke-belching vehicles. See the black smoke coming from the jeepneys and trucks? I see that all the time on the road.
That's correct, Katrina. I agree with you too. How about the second picture? Yes, Yasa?
The other picture is a river with a lot of things floating on it. Its water is black and yuck, dirty.
You're right, Yasa. And what do you think makes the water black and dirty?
Well, ma'am, because of the waste people throw around. Pollution coming from factories and other manufacturing plants and many more, ma'am.
That was really good, Yasa. Now, how about the third picture? Who can say something about it? Yes, Aaron?
The third picture shows factories with black smoke coming from the chimneys of those factories.
Very good. In fact, Yasa mentioned that earlier. Now, what about the last picture? Mark?
So the last picture is about the heaps of uncollected garbage in street. As you can see, flies are all over the place.
Very good. Class, can you think of a word to label these pictures?
Pollution.
Correct. I'll write that down. Pollution. Now, class, what other things come to your mind when you see the word pollution? Can you begin, Carl?
When I see pollution, I associate it with diseases such as bronchitis, asthma, TB, and other respiratory diseases. The polluted air we breathe will definitely make us sick.
Very good, Carl. Respiratory diseases. Anyone else who can add to that? Yes, Maya?
When I see pollution around, I get angry with the way people take nature for granted. It's really disgusting how we have failed to protect our environment.
Thank you very much. That's a good point there, Maya. Now, who else can recite? How about Sheila?
Greed is what I can associate with pollution. Look at all those factories giving off black smoke and throwing their wastes into the river. The owners only think of profit. They don't even care about the health of the people around them.
That's a good point there. Very good. Now, who else can recite? How about Katrina? Yes?
For me, it's education, because I believe people must be told, educated about the harmful effects of pollution we ourselves have created.
What was the teacher trying to do? Yes, she was trying to make the students talk about the pictures associated with the topic for their composition. She wanted them to recall their personal observations, experiences, as well as feelings about the topic. Why did she have to do that? She wanted to prepare the students, to make them think of things to write about: pollution. Let's go back to the classroom and see the rest of the lesson.
Class, I'm so glad that you're aware of what's happening to our environment. Now, can you suggest how these words and these pictures can be grouped? Who wants to recite? Yes, Drossel.
We can have one group on kinds of pollution.
Very good. Drossel, kindly come over and then match the label with the corresponding picture and word. Who else has another answer? Yes, Jeffrey.
Another is the causes of pollution.
Very good. Can you come over and then post your answer on the board? Very good. Who else wants to recite? Yes, Aaron.
What about the effects of pollution?
Very good. Who else would like to recite? Yes, Yasa.
Another thing is ways of preventing pollution.
That's very good. In fact, class, these are the possible topics which you might want to write about. You don't need to write about all of them. All you need to do is write about the topic which you feel you can handle best. Okay? And then choose that topic and see how you can explore it. From there, you're now ready to write your first draft.
Did you notice how the teacher processed the students' responses? She helped them put some sense or order in an otherwise freewheeling interaction. Dividing the main topics into subtopics might help students decide which ones to treat in their own work. Helping students focus on one or two subtopics might also help them not to feel overwhelmed by the general topic, which is pollution. What do you think happens in day 2? We will find out after this break. Stay tuned.